Now, Brian, we can't really talk about oral health without talking about the impact that smokeless tobacco can have on our oral health. What are the concerns about young people that still dip?
Well, and that is a big concern. I think if you look, a lot of these young people have role models in the major league teams, in the baseball, and the professional sports, and at one time it was a very big part of the culture was to dip, and now I think you've seen it slowly decrease. 30 to 40% of major league players still dip or use smokeless tobacco. NCAA actually has banned the use of smokeless tobacco, so there are effects. People that are trying to bring back the usage of smokeless tobacco and the promotion of it. However, young people are very susceptible to peer pressure, so it is still a major concern as far as your oral health.
Now, in addition to these large organizations, you also met an individual here in Oklahoma that's pretty much made it his life work now that he's retired to go out and talk to young people about the dangers of using smokeless tobacco.
I did, Rob. I had the opportunity to sit down with James Brugance, a retired coach from southeastern Oklahoma, who unfortunately witnessed firsthand how tragic mouth cancer from dipping and using smokeless tobacco can be, as it took the life of one of his star athletes. And he made it his promise to tell Sean Marcy's story to every student across the state.
Caution you against this, though. If you think it's cool, you're stupid.
A phrase not often said to a classroom full of 7th grade boys, but a point that James Brugance wants to have sink in before it's too late.
Years ago, and really hadn't been all that many years ago, we really didn't know the dangers of smokeless tobacco. At that time, we were starting to understand some of the dangers of smoking, but smokeless tobacco, everyone really thought that's kind of the safe alternative to smoking.
And it wasn't until one of his former star athletes at Tallahassee, named Sean Marcy, who died over 20 years ago from a severe case of mouth cancer that stemmed from chewing tobacco. It was then Brugance decided to go from school to school telling Sean's story.
Listen to me, is a word called cancer. Sean was an outstanding athlete. Won lots of medals in track. Sprinter, long jumper, and really an outstanding, easy to say, and someone always says something like that after you lose someone, but he really was an outstanding young man.
Sometimes what's hard to quit might be worth quitting.
Marcy was only 19 when he died. His story was so shocking that Disney produced a movie to warn teenagers against the dangers of smokeless tobacco, a film that Brugance has shared with a number of schools in southeastern Oklahoma.
The Monday following his high school graduation, Sean's biopsy revealed that the sore on his tongue was cancerous. 9 months later, after 3 major operations, Sean Marcy died.
Try to target the younger kids, try to catch them maybe before they get started, you know, is ideal. But I've had high school kids, and I'll come back and say, boy, I appreciate that, and or maybe I'll see them at Walmart, you know, a year or 2 years later, and they say, boy, I quit that stuff, you know. And so, yeah, that makes you feel good, you know. Bottom line is, if you save one, then it's all been worth it.
And on this day at Heavener Elementary, Brugance may have done just that.
He's made a bunch of kids so they're real scared whenever he was talking. I bet they'll change their ways. I know I will.